If you come from a traditional Indian family, you know what the bubble feels like. The curfew is not set by you, but your parents. Dinner magically appears on the table in front of you. You have to worry about nothing practically. Don't know how to do laundry, don't know how to cook meals. Well, 22-year-old me popped that bubble and packed my entire life in two suitcases and flew to New Zealand. At the time, I didn't know I was going to fall in love with the country. 12 years later, here I am. There, I fixed the light. Hi, I'm Fiorella and welcome to my channel. When I landed in New Zealand 12 years ago, I thought I was chasing the dream. A few months into being in this country, it was my 23rd birthday. My friends threw me a really good party at a local club. Now, the club was lively, there was amazing people around, the music was really loud. It was amazing. It was my first birthday away from home, and I thought I was living the dream, right? Of being independent, all of that. But all I could hear was the silence in my heart, because it was the first time that my parents hadn't thrown my birthday party for me, or I wasn't with my cousins, and my uncles and aunties were not in the background talking about politics like they usually would. And that's when it hit me. This is what independence is living abroad.
Wow.
Moving abroad isn't just about changing your GPS location, it's a total dismantling of who you are as a person and becoming this new independent version of yourself. Today, after navigating 12 years in beautiful Aotearoa, I want to talk about 5 culture shocks that hit me when I first moved to New Zealand to begin my independent life. When you land in New Zealand, the first thing that absolutely hits you is the complete silence and stillness. In India, when you go out onto the street, it's so beautifully loud. There's traffic, there's vendors, there's children, there's dogs, there's cats, and everybody is talking to each other over everybody. And you just get used to that kind of noise. When I first landed in New Zealand, it was so still and so quiet that initially the silence started feeling less blissful and more heavy. However, as time passes by, that silence actually becomes luxury and you start appreciating it more, because what it does is it allows you to enjoy your own company and also appreciate the people in your life more. That is the first lesson I learned in New Zealand. Shock number 2, the convenience trap. Now, if you're from India, you know, and even if you're not from India, I will let you know that food is really convenient and it's available everywhere. If you need to snack, if you just want to grab a cup of tea or chai, if you want to go out and grab a cup of coffee, street food is available everywhere. Now, if I was hungry in India, step outside, have a dosa, have a samosa, have delicious pani puri, which by all means is my favorite snack. However, when I came to New Zealand, I kept that same mindset, right? That if I finished work late, or if I was studying late, or if I was doing long hours at work, I'm just going to go outside and grab a quick snack. Well, that dream shattered really quick, because my first trip to a local cafe when I was studying late, I pretty much walked up to them and just practically brought a muffin and a flat white. It was $12. $12. When I converted that into Indian rupees, that could buy 3 people their full meals. I very quickly learned that I needed to meal prep and snack prep. So instead of buying snacks or, going to the cafe for coffee in my early days in this country, I practically brought crackers and cheese or went to the local supermarket and brought my weekly snacks in bulk. I also learned the Kiwi hack of making my coffee at home, even if it was fresh coffee, and carrying a reusable water bottle everywhere I went. Shock number 3, the DIY workspace. This was a big one. So in India, if you needed to build furniture or you want to buy big pieces or big items for your house, right? The company usually sends a handyman that can either assemble the item in your house, or the items always come pre-assembled. That's what I thought was going to happen in New Zealand. I should have done my research for that one, because when I got my first work desk to my room, it came in a flat box. that got delivered on the top of the street, which meant then I had to walk up the stairs, drag that huge flat box back down the stairs into my building lobby, into the elevator, and then out of the elevator into my room. So I thought, well, most of the hard part was done. Little did I know that once I opened that flat box and had to build my desk, I saw these mountains of instructions and screws and planks and metal rods, and my brain just could not handle it. And after I completed putting that desk together, I'm pretty sure I started in the evening, and then it took me about 3 or 4 hours, which was really long time for me. Shock number 4. Shock number 4, the house help. So this was another big one for me. In India, we always had paid house help. We had cleaners that would come in on a regular basis. Sometimes we had cook that would come in, and it's pretty standard for an Indian family to have house help. And because of that, it led me to never actually do any house chores, apart from my own personal chores. But the generic house chores was always taken care of by our house help. Bless her, because I now appreciate her a lot more. So when I moved to New Zealand, the concept of house help is almost non-existent because labor is very expensive. So most families or individuals choose not to have house help. I did have to learn very quickly to do my own chores, and because we were living in a flatting situation, each flatmate had to practically clean up. We had a schedule that we would run by, which worked really well for us, and obviously there were times where we would take on each other's work and help each other out. That's just part of living together with people. But yeah, that one was a difficult pill to swallow. And finally, shock number 5, the boundary shift. So for this one here, it's not so much as what happens in New Zealand. It's more so what happens with people you talk to on the call back at home. So when you come to New Zealand, you do have to build a different set of rules for yourself and a different lifestyle. However, the people on the call remember the version of you that actually left. And that whole version of you starts to evolve into somebody new when you move countries. You set new rules for yourself, you meet new friends, and it's difficult to explain that over a phone call. And sometimes you'll have your parents call you up and check in about your curfew times, or check in about what you have eaten today, or why you're hungry today, or why you have not eaten today. And sometimes you can feel guilty, that you are no longer the person that left your home country. You are changing every day, you are evolving every day, you are pushing your threshold every day, and that is what builds you as a person. It does take a little bit of time for your family to play catch up, because they're still remembering the old version of you that left. There will be times where you will need to set some boundaries with your family, and that is perfectly normal. However, it is not always comfortable, but expect these things to happen, because they will when you move abroad. Looking back, I barely recognize the girl who moved here, who felt alone on her 23rd birthday, who was shocked looking at that $12 cafe bill, who was very concerned about not being able to afford house help really, and also the girl who had to set her boundaries. I barely recognize her, because every culture shock or every challenge that I have faced here has only helped me grow and evolve into the person I am today. But every single shock is an invitation to grow. When you lose the safety net, you finally learn to grow. You learn to budget, you learn to feel safe and be strong, you learn to cook your own meals, you learn to do your own chores, and you definitely learn how to live a life without house help. If you are planning the move abroad and you are scared to take the first step, take a seat and take a deep breath, because you are definitely stronger than what you think, and you are definitely more capable than what you think. Thank you for spending your time with me. If you would like some real life experiences of what it takes to build a life abroad, like this video, comment below saying which one of these shocks surprised you, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Welcome to Fiorella Space.